Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols, reaming my body.
Alright guys, Isshiki Otsutsuki was officially introduced a couple of days ago by the Boruto staff. Shout out to Abdul. He basically shared this on Twitter and basically started a whole controversy around Isshiki Otsutsuki, how he looks and a whole bunch of stuff like that. But before we do actually get into that, I do want to actually read exactly what the actual spoiler did actually say. And it's a bunch of stuff that I kind of shared to you guys already, but I'm just going to reread it for a lot of you guys who haven't necessarily seen something like this. Calamity, manifestation. The text under the heading, a member of the Otsutsuki clan who possesses godlike power, wreaks havoc on mankind, is about to make an appearance. Orange text next to Isshiki. Kashin Koji versus Jigen, heated battle. The next text, Isshiki Otsutsuki. Jigen, who has been driven to the brink by Kashin Koji's flames, makes a last stand. Alright, so this right here is essentially giving a bit of spoilers, I should say. This right here I didn't necessarily cover yet, but it's very interesting. Just to point out specifically, I'm talking about where it says Jigen, who has been driven to the brink by Kashin Koji's flames, makes a last stand. But regardless, this right here is definitely going to be a very, very big time in the Boruto series. But of course, the big news around this right here has to be Isshiki Otsutsuki's actual design. How Isshiki Otsutsuki looks. I'm not going to lie to you guys, bro. I personally feel like the Boruto writers at this particular point, they're trolling us. I mean, I don't need to tell people this. I think that the Boruto writers, they're trolls. They understand what's going on Twitter. They understand what's going on in the media. They understand how the actual series is being received. They have seen the criticism of the first appearance designs. We've seen this with Delta. We've seen this with Jigen. We've seen this with Isshiki. We've seen this even with Boruto with the Karma Seal. First appearance designs don't look good, and for them to understand all that criticism and still pull up with Isshiki looking like this, I'm pretty damn sure that they're trolling. Now, the big reason why I'm not necessarily too mad about this is because every time that we do see a first appearance design and looks not necessarily the best, essentially all the first appearance or almost all the first appearance designs, I know Deepa looked very good in his first appearance design. Eventually, they look very good. And I talked about this a lot before. And even when this tweet actually went live, there was like, I should say like 90% of people like, yo, Isshiki looks terrible, but 10% of people were like, yo, this is something that we've seen before. Like, for example, Jigen's first design looked like this. In the last episode, Jigen looked like this. It's an absolute crazy stark difference just because of the fact that in the Boruto manga, we understand these characters look amazing, and when it comes to the Boruto anime, people want to see the characters look the best. And of course, later on, the Boruto anime does eventually get it right. Now, not only that, Isshiki as well. People were complaining about Isshiki. Isshiki looked like this when they first introduced his design. Later on, he looked like this. Not even that, I think the biggest one had to be Kawaki. People were absolutely rolling the Boruto designers for this. Kawaki's first design looked goofy, but then in episode 189, like a couple episodes, probably like 2 weeks after we did get the actual first design, he looked amazing. Like, the actual episode looked absolutely amazing. And it wasn't just that episode, damn near all the other episodes after that, he looked very, very good. He probably didn't necessarily look that good, but he looked really, really good. So my personal opinions when it comes to this design, I'm not necessarily gonna be too mad. And in fact, as I said, I think that the Boruto writers are trolling at this particular point. I believe the first time that we see Isshiki Otsutsuki in the Boruto anime, he's probably not going to look good. I'm just going to put it like that. He's probably not going to look good. So that first episode, episode 214, which, by the way, I didn't necessarily say this yet. He's going to be introduced in episode 214. Mark your calendars for that. I think that's going to be September 5th. But regardless, in that specific episode right there, the first couple of scenes, Isshiki Otsutsuki might look absolutely abominable. He might look absolutely atrocious. Just point that out. But afterwards, I'm pretty sure in that episode, he's going to look fine. And especially in the episodes after that, when he does actually go into the bigger fights that the Boruto manga readers actually do know about, he's going to look absolutely amazing. So I'm not necessarily completely worried about, you know, Isshiki Otsutsuki's design. One of the things that I'm a little bit worried about is how the actual anime portrays Isshiki Otsutsuki and them potentially cutting some scenes and actually adding some anime only scenes. With the Boruto anime, I've said this multiple times, they have a lot of room to add in some anime only stuff. And if they add in some anime only stuff, that makes Isshiki Otsutsuki's fight a little bit longer in the Boruto anime than they were in the Boruto manga. That might make it seem that Isshiki Otsutsuki isn't as strong as the manga portrayed him to be. and that right there would be a problem. I talked about this with Isshiki, when I personally believe, and I think like 90% of the Boruto fandom believed, that episode 208 was going to adapt one chapter, and that one chapter, it was going to be Isshiki versus Boro. That fight right there in the Boruto manga was extremely quick. Now, because they had a full damn episode to actually adapt that fight, I thought that they were going to stretch it out and make Isshiki look a little bit weaker and have a little bit of a tougher time with Boro than he did in the Boruto manga. That right there was extremely worrying, but they completely blew me out of the water. The Isshiki and Boro fight had to be probably like, I don't know, 1 or 2 minutes, something like that, and then they actually adapted a full other chapter into that actual episode right there. So that right there wasn't necessarily a problem. But however, we now know the actual spacing is going to be not necessarily the next episode, because I think the next episode is going to be about 2 chapters per episode, but in the episodes after that, it's going to actually be 1 chapter per episode. So the Boruto writers are going to have a lot of room to add in a bunch of anime only stuff. And again, if they add in too much anime only stuff, it might make Isshiki Otsutsuki seem like he's not necessarily as strong as he should be portrayed. But regardless, these right here are absolutely amazing times for the Boruto anime. This right here is arguably probably going to be one of the most important, I should say, 8 episode stretches in the whole Boruto series. Is going to be absolutely insane, especially if they continue on adapting the Boruto manga. It's going to be completely different. The anime onlys, I really can't wait to see you guys' reactions. But let me know what you guys think about Isshiki Otsutsuki's design. And of course, let me know what you guys think about the next couple of episodes of the Boruto series. Again, the episode that we should be expecting Isshiki Otsutsuki to make a full appearance is going to be episode 214, September 5th. Again, mark your calendars. But it's me, your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.